All right, everyone, welcome to the Lead Management Mastery session. So excited to go over a comprehensive and in-depth breakdown of how we go about managing our lead pipeline within my own wholesaling business. Some KPIs and resources that you can go off of to properly squeeze the juice out of all the leads that come into your system. I'm confident you'll be able to add at least another 1 to 2 deals per month just by having proper lead management processes in place. And then ultimately giving you guys an inside look on the different systems that we use, how they're communicating with one another, how our team is collaborating with one another through these systems to efficiently manage our virtual team and do deals from anywhere. So if you're looking to add another 10 to 20K to your deals every single month, then this is the video for you. If you're looking to do that without having to add more complexity into your marketing or having to spend more in marketing, then this video is for you. Because what got me to create this video in the first place was sitting down with my mentor and looking over all the deals that we've closed over the last year and looking at the average sales cycles from the moment the lead came into our system to the moment that lead closed and revenue hit our bank account. And through this exercise, I discovered that there was 12 seller contracts that we had signed in the last year that had an average of 9 months to convert. So to make sure that didn't go over your head, from the moment the seller lead came into our system, there was 12 leads that we got under agreement in the last year. And those 12 contracts took 9 months to convert. Now, we haven't done just 12 contracts. I'm saying of all the contracts and deals that we've closed in the last year, there was 12 outliers of leads that took 9 months for us to convert into a contract to start engaging in the sales cycle. One of those leads took just alone 2.5 years to convert. Think about that. We had got that lead in our system 2.5 years ago, and we finally got them to convert back in 2023 and close the deal in early 2024. 7 of these leads, or I should say 7 of these contracts out of the 12 have already closed for $68,000 of revenue. 3 of them are actively listed on the MLS as novation deals worth 30 to 45K in pipeline that we expect to close. And then 1 is already now assigned to a buyer and the closing date has been set for a $9,500 wholesale fee. And then 1 is dead. We couldn't find a buyer for the deal. It didn't make sense. We had to terminate the contract. So when you think about this, just by having lead managers in place, a proper process and structure for these lead managers to set appointments for our acquisitions team, and by giving them the systems that they need to be successful in their role, 11 out of these 12 contracts are going to create 100K's worth of revenue for our company. Not having to spend more on marketing, not having to introduce another marketing method, not even having to hire a bunch of new people. We just have 2 lead managers that have helped to allow us to properly manage our lead pipeline and has added 100K's worth of revenue into our business alone over the last year. So think about what it can do for you and your team. So let's jump in. As I mentioned, today we're going to go over the systems and really giving you like a live demo of how we go about properly managing our leads with our lead managers and track their performance through 3 core systems: Podio, Smartphone, and Slack. If you're looking for a brief overview of lead management, KPIs, best practices, and additional SOPs, I encourage you to go look at the Lead Management Mastery section in the community, or classroom section within the community. That'll give you more of definitions of lead stages, proper lead management hygiene, best practices, KPIs, so on and so forth. This is going to give you a live demo element. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, there's going to be a guide in the comment section below that you can have access to. There's 3 core systems that we use to help effectively manage our business, but impact directly the role of our lead managers and how they can be successful in managing our lead pipeline and moving leads through the sales cycle. Qualifying or disqualifying, right? We talked about that in the other video. That's the role of the lead manager, is to qualify and disqualify and set appointments for these seller leads. So our acquisitions team can focus on closing contracts. And the systems we use to do that is our CRM, a customer relationship management system that happens to be Podio. We have a custom version of Podio. If you're interested, please reach out to our team at systems@diyrealestate.us, or we have their basic one, their basic real estate pack that you can sign up for $24 a month is also an option as well. Smartphone is a click to call or click to text phone system that we use, essentially, that's integrated within Podio. We also have a license that we recently upgraded to Smart Dialer. That's a power dialer baked into smartphone that you're going to see in a moment that will allow our lead managers to make more calls per day. Basically, it'll automate their lead follow-ups. There is a promo code here. You guys get 30% off with our discount code that, again, will be in the comment section. And you can use that link to sign up if this is a tool and system that you'd like to use. And then lastly, the final system and setup that we have is through Slack, which is a free workspace that we set up. And we use that to communicate in real time, help with offer underwriting, help with dispoing, help with acquisitions and offer and transaction coordination. So you're going to see all those different channels in just a moment. And really with these three, we're able to manage a completely virtual company and manage our lead pipeline and deal pipeline effectively. So starting with probably the most important system that any business can have, which is a CRM, a customer relationship management system. Every business, regardless if it's real estate, regardless if it's a car dealership, if it's a marketing company, software company, every company should have a CRM that'll manage your sales and deal pipeline. So what are the key lead management functions that we have in any CRM? Pipeline management's key. Right? You need to be able to manage your lead stages, the next action of these leads, and ultimately track the activity that's going on across your acquisitions team. So that no matter if you're an agent, no matter if you're a lead manager, no matter if you're an acquisitions manager or the CEO of your company, you can hop right into your CRM. You can see all the different leads in your sales pipeline, what stages they're currently sitting at, and which ones they should be prioritizing every day. And then if you want a deeper dive into the status of these opportunities, you can quickly go into the lead itself and look at the notes and comments section to see how what's the current status of that lead or deal is, and then what the next step in that process is. So number one, the core function is pipeline and deal management. Then being able to proactively communicate and reach out to these sellers is going to be naturally part of the process, right? So we integrate smartphone into our CRM, which you'll see, and that allows our team to be able to click to call, allows them to do text messaging if they'd like to, and interact with our seller leads to continue to communicate and move them through the stages of the sales process. Then KPI tracking, right? As they're taking this activity in point number 2, as they're taking action, establishing next steps, they're tracking all of the activities that are going on, whether it's a call or a text or an appointment being set. So being able to look at those KPIs can build predictability in your acquisitions team and set goals every single week and month so that you can stay on track to close the amount of deal revenue that you need to grow your business in a healthy way. So third, KPI tracking. These are 4 KPIs that really matter the most for any lead manager, which is number of calls per day, number of appointments they are setting, number of appointments that have been attended, right? We want to make sure they're setting quality appointments for our acquisitions managers, making sure that sellers are showing up to these appointments and that we are getting ourselves a fighting chance to make an offer. And then the 4th, which is one that we've started to track more closely in recent months, is average talk time. So one thing that we've started to find in our lead managers is that they're making not as many calls per day as we would like based on industry standard. And now we're starting to look into how long are they having conversations for. If they're unable to make the amount of KPI calls we need them per day or hit their targets per day from a KPI perspective, then why is that the case? So we go deeper into, okay, if they're spending 20 to 30 minutes on average, then yeah, it's going to take up a good majority of your day doing 5 to 6 calls. So we really want to, as leaders in the acquisitions department or CEOs of your business, that's an area that we're looking into now to make sure that we can minimize and qualify and disqualify faster so that they can make more calls with the next seller that could turn into an opportunity for our business. So it's so important that you measure these KPIs on a daily and weekly basis so we can make sure we're trending towards our goals every month. Then this gets into leveraging systems to scale your outreach, leveraging systems to interact with your sales pipeline, and doing that in the most efficient way possible. So we have the functionality of what's called a drip campaign, or some might call it automated follow-ups. This basically allows us to set up a campaign in the CRM for leads that might be not interested at one point in time, leads that we're nurturing that just aren't ready to sell yet, but follow up in a couple months, etc. Or leads that have just ghosted us, right? Leads that we haven't struggled to get back on the calendar, and these are lead stages that are ripe for leveraging an auto follow-up or a drip campaign, right? Just being able to kick off an automated text or email just to interact with them, say, hey, have you thought about selling again? Is it now a better time? Hope all is well. Happy holidays. Hope the summer months are going well. Or, hey, we're offering a referral program where you introduce us to any of your friends and family, and we'll pay you $1,500, right? There's so many different ways to interact with a qualified and warm lead that is in your pipeline, not just by ways of getting them to sell on their own, but possibly interacting with them to see if you can get a referral from them. And the best way to do that is to, of course, speak to them and contact them at scale. And the best way to do that, of course, is leveraging your system, your CRM, and that's a feature that we have within ours and the ones that our clients use. So when we look at the 5 core, the fifth and final is task management. Now, of course, CRMs can provide a lot more value outside of these 5 key points here, but just remember, this is from a lead management perspective, right? These 5 functions within our CRM help our lead managers to work more effectively. So probably, aside from just organizing our pipeline in a healthy way, it's going to be a close battle for second on what's more important, which is KPI tracking or task management. Well, task management is extremely important, especially if you want to track how many tasks are being completed or which tasks might be overdue and how long these tasks are overdue for. That's going to allow you to be able to really audit your team in the healthiest way possible and really start to figure out where there are bottlenecks occurring across your business. So looking at tasks, pending tasks, and completed tasks are really helpful to paint that picture for your business. So we use tasks all the time, and it's also a great way for your lead managers, your agents, anyone that's really playing an individual contributor role within your business. It's a great way for them to come into their workday and see what tasks they have ahead, so they know exactly what to do and they can get right into their workday and be as productive as they possibly can. So let's jump into our CRM and check out what this looks like. So this is our CRM. If you're a client of ours or have worked with our CRM before, this is the exact same CRM that our clients use at DIY Real Estate Group. And so you can see all the different apps that play a key role in the deal-making process. What I'm going to go over is a few that are key and crucial to the success of our lead managers. So first, you'll see the reporting out of the gate. The dashboard allows us to understand how many calls are made per day based on the agent, how many calls have been made this week, how many offers have been sent, appointments that have been set, and the status of those appointments. So, really making sure that we're tracking these metrics that I had established. Those 4 key metrics in the beginning will allow you to understand how efficient your lead managers are operating. So let's go into our first point, which was pipeline organization. So in my previous video, the lead management mastery module that we have in the classroom section goes over the different definitions of lead stages. But what you'll see here is how we've actually organized that within our business. So what's great about this is when leads come into our system, our lead managers are getting assigned different leads based on market, based on a round robin system. There's a couple different setups that we have right now where our 2 lead managers are waiting for leads that are coming in through cold calling and SMS, and our agents are assigning them based on the different categories I just mentioned, right? We have some lead managers that are covering certain states, certain markets, certain asset types, and also we just have also a round robin system that's just sort of luck of the draw. So once those lead managers get the lead assigned to them, they now are engaged. Now they're making notes on the actual calls. This is actually from the agent itself. So if we go here, Ahmed is our lead manager, and this is where you're going to see the lead manager notes starting to come in, right? So now he's stepped in, showing, hey, I've called twice on the 12th. I'll call again tomorrow. He's got a nice next action established. He's tracked, aside from just the fact that the communications app that we have is actually tracking the calls on our dashboard. He's also making the notes, as you can see, in the lead itself. So I know that he's taking action on this lead specifically. Now it looks like on the 13th, so yesterday at the time of this video, he was able to get this guy back on a call and was able to, have a greater discussion, and now has an understanding of when the next availability is for my brother, who is the acquisitions manager and team lead, to now take over this opportunity. Now let's go and check out a couple other ones. Okay, so he's making notes here on the ones that you've been reaching out to. So these are ones that are untouched. Let's try to go after a few that might be in the follow-up stage. So these are ones that we're actively chasing after. Okay, this is great. So prime example of proper note-taking and just well-executed hygiene, CRM hygiene by my lead manager, Natalie. So you can see she's going ahead. She's Nasli, but she goes by Natalie. So you can see she's making comments. She's keeping leads in their proper stages. She's putting the lead in the next bucket, basically, for our team to be aware of what we need to be doing, our acquisitions manager, that is, of what he needs to be doing. If she's having trouble getting in touch, or if my brother needs to step in, at least he's well aware of, like, hey, what work has been done already by our lead manager, so that he can go in with without being blind, essentially. So here you go. She's been calling him a lot. He just texts back, yes, I will sell, but never replies or tried scheduling a call or called. Picked up today, I was rushing, so agreed to call back later. So she's playing a bit of phone tag here. My brother's even setting tasks now, right? Just helping her stay aligned, right? She's got a lot of different leads that she's focused on. My brother's stepping in to make sure that he's reviewing the challenges that she's having, providing that feedback loop, and then also helping her with some task setting to make sure she doesn't forget. So you can see in this lead, right, not only are the comment histories up to date, the notes are set, the lead is in the proper stage, but my brother has gone down and he's gone ahead and he's set some tasks for a follow-up, right? This is looking like it's overdue, but that's simply because she hasn't gotten back in touch with him, right? So Natalie knows that she's got to continue to keep engaging with the cadence that we've set out for her, calling 2 times a day for 3 days, then calling every other day for 3 weeks, and then calling once a month after that before we disposition. So she's sticking to her process while my brother's helping to track, stay up to date, and provide feedback when she's needing it. So going into a couple other, since we're on the topic of task management, let's jump right into the task management app. So you'll see, based on team member, you can see the new tasks, the completed tasks, and overdue tasks. Right, so we'll see Ahmed's one of our lead managers. He's got 60 overdue tasks with 262 new. Nasli, who's or Natalie as she goes, so our other lead manager, she's got 35 overdue tasks with 160 new gearing up. So she can come in every single day, and he can come in every single day to figure out, okay, what's on my plate, can organize by date and time, and really just make sure that they're maximizing the hours that they have every day. And these tasks are very simple and easy to understand. Status, typically will have a task title. If there's a level of severity, we can always put the priority for these tasks as well. So it's all about organization, keeping data updated, and not letting your tasks or leads fall behind. So before we go too fast, right, just making sure that we're hitting on the key points, which is pipeline management, right, keeping proper note taking, tracking activities from SMS engagements, from cold calling um, conversations, or I shouldn't say cold calling, from call conversations that have been happened by the lead managers, and then making sure that if there are any questions that you guys have, um, when let's say there's a question that the lead manager has for your acquisitions manager or team lead, and they had a really tough conversation, they want to basically get some feedback from that managerial figure. They can now go into smartphone, which, as I mentioned before, is an integrated um, dialer basically into our CRM that allows us to do click to call, click to text, and provides a power dialing feature for warm leads. So, for the sake of our lead managers, when they go in, let's say for Christopher Turner, you can see here there's going to be an option. And I'll talk about smartphone and the details of it in a moment. But this is integrated through the Chrome extension that we have set up. As well as just being integrated into the actual software itself through Podio. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, highlighting here in case you missed it, if you need any help for onboarding, setup, or support with Podio, smartphone, and Slack, please reach out to systems@diyrealestate.us and we're happy to help. The goal of this call is not to go into a setup or a tech discussion. It's just to show the reasons behind these tools and the role they play in our business to help with your lead managers. But just wanted to make sure that if you have any tech related questions, to reach out to our support team or catch the systems videos in the classroom section. All right. So jumping back in to smartphone. So again, it gives us the click to call, click to text functionality. That activity is logged in the sections to the right here, as well as in the communications app. And you're going to be able to see the history here in the communications log. So this phone recording is logged into the CRM. So now that leadership member or management member can go in and say, hey, Natalie, I listened to the call, took some notes. Here's where I think I would have done things differently. Here's my recommendation for giving that person a call back, or here's how I'd approach it next time, or here's what I'd say in the follow-up to try to get them back on the calendar, right? It's that collaboration that's so key between your lead manager and your acquisitions leaders to constantly be engaged with them. And so this system is a really great way to log activity, organize your sales pipeline, and then also be able to review the conversations and provide that proper feedback loop to your team if necessary. And you can find these by simply going to your section up here, billings and logs, and then you can just go to logs and you can see all of the recordings as well as SMS logs if there's any questions, discrepancies, or hiccups related to SMS communications. You can see that all here. You can see the content. You can also see and research the phone numbers as well. So you'll just basically search the seller lead number if you want to find it. It's the easiest way to do it. And then you can go and download the recording as well. So just a great resource for training and managing your team. All right. Now we've covered a couple of these already, but just making sure we don't skip through these too quick, which is KPI tracking. All right. We've talked about that, being able to see the communication that's going on with smartphone, all of the data points that you see, the KPIs that are coming on your dashboard here are actually integrated. If it has anything to do with a call or a text, that information is coming from smartphone, but it's being displayed in your CRM. So you'll be able to get those activity metrics again from the dashboard. And what I would recommend is we actually provide this in the client resource library, is tracking on a daily basis your activities for your marketing. So you'll see here, these first few sections are going to be from your campaign activities, right? This is where it's coming from your launch control. It's coming from cold calling reports from the DIY team if you're doing lead generation with us. But if you're doing active marketing, which you should if you're watching this video, you're going to have KPI metrics on your marketing channels. So the first initial ones are more around your marketing KPIs. Then once you get to phone conversations and on, those are KPIs that are coming from your acquisitions team. So your lead managers, your acquisitions managers, those are things that are happening once the lead has been passed over to your acquisitions team. So if you don't have a dashboard that does this for you and tracks this for you, make sure you're going in and manually tracking this. You'll be better off for it. It might take a little bit of time at the beginning stages, but I promise you, if you start tracking these on a daily basis, you're gonna start seeing trends in what's getting you to closing deals consistently. Or if you're struggling to close deals, the story will be told, because you're going to see, oh, I've generated 100 leads and I haven't had any appointments and I'm not getting a soft offers out, so I'm not ultimately going to be closing deals at that point. It makes a lot of sense, right? So using these systems to track your KPIs through the power of the smartphone tool and your CRM, in this case it's Podio, that'll allow you to properly track the progress of your lead managers. And once you start seeing and doing this for consistent weeks, you're going to start seeing trends in your activities from your lead managers. And that'll allow you to set expectations for goals. I would say roughly for some basic ones, you want to have, at least for any part-time lead manager, you want to have about 5 appointments booked per week. For a full-time lead manager, you want 10 appointments booked per week. And those are some good metrics to go by. They should be making anywhere between, if they're part-time, probably like 30 calls per day. If they're full-time, closer to like 70, 75 is how many calls you want them making per day. And again, their main purpose is to be that buffer in between when the lead comes in and when that lead gets passed over to your acquisitions managers, when an appointment needs to be set. So they're just helping to qualify, disqualify, and then set that next step appointment. So now that we've covered pipeline management, the benefit of having the integration between smartphone into our Podio system to be able to click to call, click to text, then we've gone into the importance of KPI tracking, making sure that we gather that data from our dashboard, putting that into our KPI reports that you all have access to, and then that way we can manage the productivity and output of our lead management team. And then we also covered briefly task management. And if we didn't dive into that deep enough, I want to make sure that that does not get overlooked. So most CRMs will give you the ability to add tasks to your seller leads after any communication has been made. Or if you haven't had any communication, let's just say any activity has been done, it's always good to log that activity, of course, as we've talked about, but also if there's a hard next action that needs to occur, whether it's a follow-up, whether it's an offer being sent, whether it's, hey, I assigning it to another team member and assigning this task. Let's just say if we wanted to create a brand new task for this lead, right? I've spoken to this lead and I want to now assign a task to my lead manager. I'm going to go underwrite and underwrite and provide comps for this property due by Friday, August 16th. Now I don't even need to do that because I can just pick the due date, but it's just good to have it in the header. I can assign that to Nasli to take care of. I can provide this for this Friday. I want it done by a certain time. I might put some additional notes in there if I'd like to. I can even label it if I want to just do offer underwriting, right? So I have these tasks and now I've set. Nasli comes into her day tomorrow or this afternoon and sees the new task and says, okay, I know I need to work on this lead and get this done by Friday, right? And now that's created and we can always do reminders. And if it's a repeated task, right, this is something that happens maybe once a Monday or every once a month, whatever, you can put that on repeat. Right, and then that task ends up not only being logged in the actual lead itself, it then of course gets logged into the task management app here. And then if I'm Nasli, I'm going to go back here and you'll be able to look at new tasks being added. And then I didn't save that task just because I didn't want to confuse her, but again, that's just an example is if I did say that, it would fall into the new task now, right? So little things that go a long way, especially if you're managing a virtual company, which most of my clients that I speak with want to do that for lifestyle benefits. So definitely lead from the front when you're keeping proper data cleaned and up to date within your CRM as a business leader. Before we move on, one final thing I almost forgot was the drip campaigns and automated follow-ups. So you'll see with these leads being in their proper stages, a common thing that my team likes to do at the beginning of every new quarter is go into leads that we're nurturing, leads that we're not interested, or leads that were dead or ghosted, and ones that have just been hard to get back in touch with, is we'll go in and we'll set up drip campaigns to do auto follow-ups. And most CRMs that I've seen out there has a capability like this. For us, we built this on our own, and it's integrated with smartphone. And what we can do here is simply come in and go down to the automatic follow-up campaign section. We can do a lead that is qualified and being nurtured, right? We have a couple pre-packaged templates for our clients based on different scenarios. Majority of the time I'm using this template, which is leads that have been qualified and are being nurtured. If you're a one-person shop and you're really struggling to keep up with your new leads and you don't have a lead manager in place, you may want to use this as well, which is, let's say, for example, you have 30 untouched leads, you've gotten backed up on your leads, you're focused on your contracts, and you just want to come in and shake the trees of those untouched leads. You're going to use this one that's just basically an introductory message, letting them know, hey, this is the Connor Brothers Home Offers team. Understand you spoke to one of our agents. We're excited to work with you. When's a good time for us to book an appointment? Where this scenario one, leads that have been qualified but are being nurtured, the conversation and templates are more around, hey, I know when we first spoke you weren't interested. Is now a better time to re-engage? Or, hey, it's the Connor Brothers Home Offers team. Hope all is well. Is now a better time to re-engage? And it kicks off a 3-touch to 5-touch drip campaign, depending on which scenario it is, of automated SMS and email outreach. So we do that. We load these up at the beginning of the quarter based on the leads that have gone ghost on us or just are in the nurture stage, might have been quiet, or maybe ones that were not interested a quarter ago and we just want to see if anything's changed. Right? We kick those off and we just allow the system to do a 3 to 5 touch campaign. And when they respond, it takes them off of that campaign automatically. So it's a great tool to automate your lead qualification if you need to, or shake the trees of your old leads without having to go spend more on marketing. And I'm going to continue to keep emphasizing the importance of this session here is to make you guys be more efficient in the current leads you have sitting in your pipeline before you have to go spend more on marketing. So check if your CRM has the feature of a drip campaign. If you're using ours, it certainly does. And make sure you're maximizing that feature at least once a month, and at the very least once a quarter if you're just getting your business off the ground and don't have a ton of leads in your pipeline yet. Now on to smartphone and smart dialer. We talked a lot about its integration and value that it adds to Podio. I want to talk about some of the additional features you can have to help with organizing the communication across your different departments, and some of the additional benefits we gain from smartphone and then introduction of smart dialer. So you'll see in our inbox for smartphone, we have different phone numbers for different departments. We also have different phone numbers and inboxes based on marketing initiatives. So for example, on our PPC campaigns that we were running, that was its own dedicated phone number. It was an inbound form of marketing, and we wanted to make sure that we knew every time a lead was calling that number, it was a highly motivated lead through our PPC campaigns. And it allowed us to have a sense of urgency. When we knew we got a phone call from that number, it was like someone's got to answer right away. So we set up a round robin internal setup for that. But that phone number setup and inbox setup is going to be different than that of our main acquisitions inbox, right? This is an inbox that's shared by our lead managers and our acquisitions managers. So that way we know if there's interactions being done in that inbox or missed calls or voicemails, it'll have the right seller name and we know who that seller is assigned to within the CRM. So that lead manager knows right away, hey, I've been working this lead, this person called, I'm going to take it from here. That way we're not stepping on each other's toes. We know exactly who we're in touch with. And then our acquisitions manager can also see and check in midday or midweek and just see how the conversations are going and also provide feedback to the sales team. So we take careful attention to detail to make sure that we buy phone numbers based on different markets. We buy phone numbers and assign them to different lead managers so that we can track their KPIs from an agent base, from individual agent standpoint. And then we also get specific phone numbers on our dispositions department versus our acquisitions department, different phone numbers on the marketing channels. Like I said, we have one for land, we have one for PPC, and we have one for our SMS and cold calling. So it allows you to organize as you start to get more team members, segment and track KPIs based on the phone numbers that they're operating out of. So it's really, really helpful from just a tracking and training standpoint. So I've showed you a couple of features related to smartphone, right? Smartphone is one phone number. It's typically leveraged as a business line. It can be assigned to an individual person or department within your business based on marketing channel or based on market, however you want to organize your company. And of course, it integrates with Podio to do the click to call, click to text, and logs the the actual activity that's being done, and also logs the recordings of the SMS, text messages, and phone numbers. So we've covered smartphone. Let's transition to smart dialer. Now, this is something we've recently invested into. This is our first full month having it. We're in actually the testing stages. So there's more to come on this. But what it's allowed us to do is, because we now have so many leads, and you're not going to need this in the beginning stages, but now being in business for 3.5, 4 years as a wholesaling company, we'd have 2,212 leads in our pipeline. It's not to say all of them are opportunities. It's not to say all of them are completely dead. And it's not to say all of them are scorching hot, right? There's a diversity in what types of leads we have in our pipeline. But what we can do is we can go back the same way that we approach from a drip campaign perspective. Our lead managers can now create campaigns and add a multi-line dialer to zip through their lead follow-ups. So, for example, Ahmed, one of our lead managers, let's say he's got 35 overdue tasks for lead follow-ups. Instead of doing them manually one by one, he can come in, he can create a campaign for those 35 leads, boost it up to a two-line dialer, and start to crank through his calls for his follow-ups. And probably what would justify that number a little bit more is probably if you had like 100 people you need to be communicating with, which is starting to happen with the lead volume that we're boosting up to at this point, where it's going to justify him being able to leverage the smart dialer tool instead of having to make his calls manually. Like I mentioned, he can now do them and just crank out his follow-up calls every single day. So it's $90 to boost this subscription, $90 per seat. So if you're just getting started, it's something that might be out of budget for you right now. However, if you are doing a consistent 1 to 3 deals per month, you do have a lead manager in place, and you find yourself generating 3 to 5 leads per day, and they start piling up, might be worth getting your lead manager onto the smart dialer tool so you can really crank through those follow-up calls and maximize their hours. Perfect. So wrapping up on our last system here, guys have been great getting through a lot of in-depth content, and hopefully these resources and the process that we've broken down here and the way that we've interacted is going to be beneficial for you and your team, so you can take some of the things that will work well, maybe make some of them your own, and start to just build a process for when the lead comes into your system, how you're going to interact with that lead and take it through the sales process as quickly and efficiently as you possibly can. Again, that's the goal of this. That's the goal of lead management in general. So as we wrap up, this is a free platform. If you're unfamiliar with Slack, it's a great work and team collaboration tool. It's a great instant messaging platform. And it's just a great way to manage a virtual company if you want to make that or adopt that into your business. So let's look at our Slack system. You can see here for my wholesaling business, my favorite channel that we have right now is our offer underwriting channel, because our lead managers are making it super organized and easy for my acquisitions managers, which is just my brother right now, to come in, get a quick snapshot of the leads that they're speaking to. They like to use emojis to really signal the temperature of it and the severity of it and how quick they need to engage. And then it gives a quick asking price versus market value, any key details or notes, and then the link to the Podio record, and if you guys aren't using Podio, just be your CRM record, so that we can see all of the notes, the next steps, the comments, what my brother needs to do, or bucket it as the acquisitions manager needs to do in order to now take over this lead and put it through the sales cycle, essentially. So you'll see that my brother now is going to be prioritizing this. He's taking it over, and he's got this lead in the follow-up stage, and it looks like he has a task that he's working on as well. So this is one channel that we've created that is specifically built for my lead managers to provide a quick snapshot of the leads that my acquisitions team should be prioritizing. And then when they want more detailed notes, next steps, or a task, they can go into the actual Podio record with the link. Another key, or a couple key channels that we've created, right? You'll see here, we've got one for just general communication, company updates, campaign updates, just anything related to what's going on in the company. Dispositions channel, dispo deal updates. That's really taken over more of the dispositions channels. Very rarely used because it's that we just basically collaborate out of our team channel. But if we're doing anything like deal update related, it's going to come from the dispo deal updates channel. Now I can understand where our active deals are currently standing, the buyer engagements that are occurring. Hey, what do we need to be focused on for deals that are coming at the end of their due diligence period? Couple other great ones, just a general acquisitions end of day report, sales training, recordings from the trainings, next steps from the trainings, acquisition deal updates is a big one for our lead managers. This is where my brother gets to provide feedback to the acquisitions team on our active contracts. And also the lead managers can continue to bubble up leads that they're working on, because our lead managers are in a bit of a hybrid role right now. There's some of them are able to get contracts under agreement, but not to muddy the waters too much. This channel is just to have anyone that's doing anything in our acquisitions team and wants visibility into the status of active deals and contracts. They can communicate with all the sales reps, the lead managers, and the agents through this channel here. So as you can see, it really comes down to how you want to organize your company. For me, as a wholesaling company, I have my acquisitions team. I have my general just company engaged channel. I have my dispositions channels. We have some sales and offer underwriting channels, sales training channels. And really that's it, right? You can start to create other ones if you want to create some good company culture ones related to music, just personal life things that you share. That's another great one too. But it's just a really good way to be able to interact with your leads your team members in real time. And from a lead management perspective, your teammates or your lead managers, can drop quick details and do that in instant messaging form so that everyone's getting these updates in real time. And it allows us, again, to jump in and prioritize our follow-ups, and keeping leads moving through the sales process as efficiently as we possibly can. So as we wrap up with some final resources that you'll have access to help with your initial build of your lead management process and then continual tracking of your lead management department. We've also added the deal and commission tracker. This is an example from my business, but we actually have a blank copy that you can use. Ideally, you want to be having this data in your CRM, but if you don't have a CRM, you're not there yet in your business, this is a good tool to just start off with. But this is the tool that actually allowed us to see how many leads we had that took on average, 6 to 12, sometimes more than a year to close, right? So this is what sparked the initial training in general, having this tool. So I know if it was as valuable as it is to me in my business, I know it will be to yours as well, regardless if you're just a solopreneur at this point. So feel free to make a copy of it. Edit these, of course, if you have different deal stages. You can ultimately edit this if you have different lead sources, different team members, various exit strategies that you are equipped to handle, are or aren't equipped to handle. You can edit those, I should say. And then, of course, the states that you operate in. Super simple. You can edit anything, and then you just make sure that the data validation is made effective for the entire column if you're not as techy as most. So simple as here, just click at edit, and then you're going to change it to the states that make sense. You're going to click done, and it's going to say apply rule to all the entire column, and you go ahead and click yes. All right. So leverage these tools to your advantage. Reach out to our support team if you need any guidance, or within the community in the support channel right here within the community if you need any assistance with lead management in general or are looking for a trained lead manager to help you in your business. We look forward to seeing you guys on the next training.